Kicking us off will be the Australian Brianna Scott, fourth best in qualification and part of the team that won silver at the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham in 2022. Spain's Lafont, who celebrated her first appearance on a World Cup podium yesterday. The Australian Kate McDonald, third best in qualification and the reigning Commonwealth Games champion. The veteran Marta Kullesa of Poland, reigning national champion and an Olympian back in 2008 in Beijing. Portugal's Costa. She's been a national championship medalist on the apparatus. Roshchina, the second best in the qualification process. Brianna, top qualifier. And we'll finish with Bohle of Hungary. She won bronze at the Hungarian Apparatus Championships in September. Some well-known folk in the sport watching on. The women's beam final. And the top performer in the qualification process was Milana Kayumova. She will be the penultimate athlete to go. Her score was 13.2. She was only a matter of hundreds ahead of Roshchina. Well, isn't it wonderful to have Marta Kullesa in this final, the gymnast who turns 39 in the summer. Winner of a great collection of World Cup honours. We're going to start with Brianna Scott. She's the fourth best after the qualification phase. She's been a World Cup medalist on the floor. A student of business studies. And she was part of the Australian team that competed at the Olympic Games in Paris. They really just did fantastically, the Australian team, to get to the Games. It was the World Championships in 2023 where they qualified a full team. Then we'll have Lafont from Spain. She's based in Manresa in Catalonia, where so many of the Spanish athletes are based. Her sister Carla was the one who introduced her to gymnastics. They have competed in competitions together domestically. After that, it will be the turn of the Commonwealth Games champion, Kate McDonald. Very well known for her accomplishments on the uneven bars. Somebody who went to the Commonwealth Games thinking that bars was likely to be her best chance of success, and produced a super display in the beam final. Was also part of the Australian team that won silver. And I just remind you all that the Commonwealth Games are coming up this summer in the beautiful city of Glasgow. Vibrant and exciting place. And if you've not had the chance to enjoy the Commonwealth Games before, I really recommend it, whether you are or aren't part of the Commonwealth in terms of where you live. It's a super event. They call it the Friendly Games with just cause. Marta Kullesa will be the final gymnast to go in the first half. The Polish all-around national champion from last year and an Olympian from Beijing in 2008 and London in 2012. She's competed at a dozen World Championships. We'll begin the women's beam final. Australia's Brianna Scott, fourth best in qualification with a score of 12.666. But one of the highest difficulty scores. So quite credibly, aiming for a place on the podium based on the complexity of her work. Switch leap mount and immediate connection work to begin. Nice start. Did well to hold that. Looked as though she was coming off. Nice side aerial, got the legs on the subsequent jump up to horizontal. Good free walkover. This is impressive work. Good wolf turn stability. That little alignment issue after the acrobatic series to one side. Everything has looked really poised, nice front tuck. To the dismount, double pike, oh, unfortunate. So unfortunate. Just not quite fully rotated. Hands coming down and a full mark coming off the score for Brianna Scott. That was a very nice display. A very kinetic beginning, lots of quick work. And that is so important to balance beam when the gymnasts have flow and fluidity to their exercises and can pick up connection bonuses rather than having skills simply in isolation. Wolf turns were very much aligned on the x-axis. Right at the end, those hands go down. Really was almost a complete package, that display from Brianna Scott. .666 the qualification score. Highest score was 13.2, and that was Nana Kayumova. She is somebody who only returned to international competition last year after taking some time following the Olympic Games, as a lot of athletes do. Opening score being calculated in this women's beam final. Next to come, it will be Spain's Lafont. Then we'll have another Australian, Scott's teammate Kate McDonald. And we'll finish the first half with Marta Pian-Kulesha. It's 12.7 for Brianna Scott. Good difficulty score of 5.7, but the execution about the same as qualifying. Lafont of Spain, 5th best in the preliminary stage. And regrettably, despite best effort, she was always destined to come off. change of direction, the switch around 180 degrees. Very tricky. She was going for real height. Adhering to that principle of attacking the apparatus and doing something with full commitment. And the acrobatic series, after all of that, is very good. This is the side aerial. Well, she's settled more into this exercise now, despite a bit of a wobbly couple of wolf turns. Just such a shame that that opening was offline. And her double pike, bit of a jarred landing, but she controls the backward step nicely. The Spaniard Lafont. And there will unfortunately be quite a few heavy deductions, including a full mark. Plenty of height. Got the legs up to horizontal. Just couldn't quite get that landing position. Good agility shown to rescue that landing. Could easily have lost a second full mark by going backwards. Spaniard Lafont. Made the all-around final at the last World Championships. She's a gymnast who has worked incredibly hard to come back from quite a difficult knee injury. Badly injured her left knee, actually vaulting at a World Cup competition in Azerbaijan in 2024. She described it as a strong shock of reality, and as the day the world fell on her. Really worked tirelessly on good rehabilitation. Never easy for an athlete of any age, especially a young one who's so early in their senior career, to have an injury of that complexity. .366. She's down a little in difficulty as well as execution, so overall a drop of 1.2 or thereabouts. It's Kate McDonald from Australia, the Commonwealth Games balance beam champion. 25 from East Melbourne. Secure switch leap mount to begin. Side aerial was so in alignment. Very good save. That was composure. The walkover has a little adjustment. But smooth move into working low to the apparatus. Rapid wolf turns. Twists beautifully. Best dismount that we've seen. Well performed that by Kate McDonald. She was the third best in qualification. That will feel particularly good after a troublesome uneven bars final yesterday. Teammate Brianna Scott comes over to congratulate. She's been a World Cup champion. It was on the uneven bars. Lots of quality in the most fundamental of ways from Kate McDonald. It's not just the skills, it's the look at the toe point there, for example, in the wolf turns. Really nice and balletic. She had a lovely classical arabesque position early on at the start of the exercise, but then the acrobatic elements as well, they were very secure. She won't have the sort of difficulty that Scott has, but one imagines the execution will compensate. It does, just about, 12.733. By a matter of hundredths, she's gone into the lead. 7/10 down in difficulty, but up in execution. Marta Kullesa of Poland. Little tentative perhaps on the mount, but walkover's good. First side somersault we've seen in this beam final. It was always going to be difficult to salvage. Regrettably, she's off. First time we've seen her in a World Cup final for a few years. Just having a bit of difficulty getting those rotations around fully, but no issues with the back tucked somersault. She's a figure of tremendous encouragement and aspiration to young athletes. To see somebody who's close to 40 out there on the international stage, still winning all-around national titles. And a gainer dismount from Marta Kullesa at the pike position. The body twisted around. Great to see her in this final. Returned to the European Championships last year for the first time since 2021. And that's where she picked up an injury that would have curtailed the careers of so many athletes at any age, let alone at the age she was. But she's in extraordinary physical condition. Just came around not fully rotated, hence that difficult landing position. Of two, qualified physiotherapist, coach of young gymnasts. Excellence in so many areas of life. The one and only Marta Kullesa. Kate McDonald leads on 12.733. Brianna Scott second on 12.7. Lafont third, and just about still third. 11.233 for Kullesa. So Font by just over a tenth of a mark has held on to the bronze medal position at the halfway stage. Now we have got the top two performers in qualification to come, Roshchina and Milana Kayumova. So there's a very reasonable chance that McDonald's lead will come under threat. But she's done her job well. She was down by about 3/10 from qualification, the Australian. But it does leave something of a gap. Great to see Mafalda Costa of Portugal in this final, 6th best in qualification. She made her debut at the World Championships last year. She's 20 and an undergraduate in physiotherapy at the University of Porto, a hugely prestigious institution. And she does well to rescue that complicated mount. Nearly. That was close. It was a good effort. It's got the components of a most effective beam routine, this. She actually had some very good results in Germany in their Bundesliga, the top flight of gymnastics. Had a spell there where she showed some very nice work on the beam. There's a good side somersault. And holds that landing well, a little low as she came out of the twist position, but it was stable enough. It's another example of a beam routine that was almost there and had lots of elements performed with good clarity. Portugal's Mafalda Costa. Nice mount sequence, that was a good hold as well. Rescued her position neatly. She's just slightly off central alignment coming out of the acrobatic series. And on beam, slightly is enough, because it is such an uncompromising apparatus. Not that they're any particularly forgiving apparatus in gymnastics. He was the 6th best in qualification with a score of 12.366. Spends a lot of time training at Sport Gimnastica in the lovely city of Porto. Mentioned earlier, she is a university undergraduate in physiotherapy at the university of her home city, which was founded in 1836 as an academy of surgery and medicine. The university itself was founded in 1911. Discussions go on. Kate McDonald still leads. Bohle and Costa is now in every gymnast's favourite place, which is stuck for a long time with the camera on you and you're on the big screen in the kiss and cry area while there's some kind of technical issue that needs to be overcome by the judging panel. Always good to have someone to chat to in that sort of situation. It's 11.033. 5.933 for execution, but she did pick up a little extra difficulty. She's in 5th place. 3 to go. Second best qualifier coming up. Roshchina, the 18-year-old. She was off on a difficult mount. Just think about the lack of visibility that the gymnast has of the apparatus when they're mounting like that. She did incredibly actually to stay on in any form. This is a difficult exercise. Really did get some travel there. Lots of elements connected, and that's how she builds a very positive difficulty score. Had to work hard for stability. She's had a few moments where things could have gone really far from the intended plan, but her ability to rescue them has been quite striking. Roshchina, that's a big old dismount. Really gets some height, gives her time to get the body around a couple of times in the tuck position. Well, that's an interesting display. Easy to see why there's quite a compelling difficulty score. Back at the start, just has a slip. Hands go down, she somehow stays on. But the ability to connect quite a lot of elements is going to help her. And she rapidly performs those rotations at the end. It's very stable looking. Certainly there will be some problems coming out of that dismount from an execution point of view. But this will, one imagines, have a pretty decent difficulty score. McDonald leading on 12.733. Roshchina's qualifying score was 13.166. Oh, that is close. 12.7. She's in third place. 5.9 difficulty score, the highest we've seen. And we've got a 12.733, a 12.7 and a 12.7, 1, 2 and 3 at the moment. Roshchina losing out to Scott on the tie-break due to her execution being lower. This is Milana Kayumova, top qualifier with 13.2 her score, and her difficulty was 5.9. She built her difficulty in a slightly different way. Again, there's plenty that's performed in sequence. And she hasn't made much in the way of landing adjustments. Big moment, and off, unfortunately. Tough acrobatic series going forwards in the tuck position. Gosh, she really gets around a few times in that squat turn position. Well-controlled side somersault. Apart from that exit from the apparatus earlier on, this has been a very accomplished display, very poised. Milana Kayumova, and a really impressive double-tucked dismount. Well, it would be absolutely crystal clear were it not for that problem coming out of the front tuck. Even so, there's going to be a good difficulty score, and there's going to be a lot to evaluate very positively in this performance from the 15-year-old. Again, it's marginal, it's close to being in line. Really attacks the toe point in those wolf turns. And gets the knees pretty tightly into the body and very central as she tucks around a couple of times at the conclusion. .733, 12.7, 12.7. That's occupying the podium at the moment. McDonald, Scott and Roshchina. This gymnast scored 13.2 in qualification. Difficulty is going to be the really key determining factor. Youngest gymnast in the final. Still only 15, and a junior world championship gold medalist on the bars last year. She has just about got it, 12.766. She's into the lead. Kira Bolaj of Hungary is the last to go, scored 12.233 in qualification. The second lowest difficulty score of any of the qualifiers, but with clarity of execution. and it starts in kind. Holds the side somersault well. Bronze medalist at the Apparatus Championships of Hungary in September. That's a really impressive horizontal axis. Little to no oscillation. What a nice performance. And her dismount, not of the complexity that we've seen from other gymnasts, hence the lower difficulty score, but clean looking work that from Kira Bohle. There is the leader, Milana Kayumova. It's so tight, the leaderboard. Kayumova 12.766, McDonald 12.733, Scott 12.7. This was a really secure looking performance to finish from Kira Bohle. Fifth time in a World Cup final for the 19-year-old. The height gainer to conclude. Kira Bohle, the last score to come in. Yet to compete at a major championships. The Hungarians have a good squad. They've got a lot of fine athletes from which to choose. Good effort that, 12.133 with a lower difficulty score. She's managed to come in fifth. The champion is Milana Kayumova, the 15-year-old with more World Cup success coming her way. The classified results in the women's balance beam competition: bronze to Brianna Scott and silver to Kate McDonald, both of Australia. Milana Kayumova wins the gold medal. And look at the lack of clarity between the top four. It was such a close final. Scott ahead of Roshchina for bronze by virtue of the execution tiebreak, 7 to 6.8. This is the last event for women at this World Cup. Here are the finalists. Looking to start with gymnast from Ukrainian, Krystyna Hrudecka. 15-year-old who is new to the international stage as a senior. Her teammate, a little more experienced, Diana Lobok, will be the next to go. She's the reigning champion on the floor of her country. Mafalda Costa of Portugal, second final of the day. Australia's Kate McDonald, who's appeared in 3 of the 4 finals over the course of this event. She was the third best in qualifying. The top qualifier, Lyudmila Roshchina. Antalya Šikić-Kaučić of Croatia, runner-up at the national championships last year, and already a World Challenge Cup champion. Leni Bohle of Austria. She has been a medalist in World Cup competition on the floor. Spain's Lafont will be the last to go. A medalist in Türkiye on floor at the Junior Mediterranean Championships many years ago. So probably some happy memories of being in this country. The finalists in the women's floor competition. The top performer in qualification, Roshchina, will go 5th in this final. Her score was 13.366. That just about a quarter of a mark higher than Lafont, the Spaniard, who will be the last to go. In the first half of the final, we have Krystyna Hrudecka, Diana Lobok, Mafalda Costa and Kate McDonald. They were the 7th, 8th, 5th and 3rd best qualifiers respectively. Top qualifier Roshchina will be the first to go after the break. So we've got Roshchina and Font, first and second best qualifiers in the second half of this final. Warm-up time is over and we're about to begin this last event for women at the World Cup in Türkiye. Ukraine's Krystyna Hrudecka is the first to go. Ukraine's Krystyna Hrudecka, 7th best in qualification with a score of 12.3. A lot of the tumbling was performed very securely. She had one particularly difficult landing that needed adjustment. Very good effort though from the gymnast who competed at the Junior World Championships last year. Made the all-around final. Double pike was really tidy looking. Landed it well. This is where she had to really jiffle backwards to get her position secured, and did it to avoid concession of a full mark. The whole thing was a very determined effort from Krystyna Hradecka, bronze medalist at the Gymnasiad, the championships for athletes still in school. He also won the uneven bars and balance beam title. A week ago she finished 6th in the final of the Azerbaijan World Cup. 12.166 is the score here. It is a little drop from qualifying. Her teammate. This is Diana Lobok from Kyiv in Ukraine, reigning champion of her country. Diana Lobok of Ukraine, the 8th best in qualification. Did well to actually get to a finishing position at the end. Really, unfortunately, just had a crumpled landing with that final tumbling pass. The 17-year-old made her debut at the World Championships last year. Also competed for a second time at the European Championships. Lots of that display was looking very secure. Just the final moments that were really problematic from an execution point of view. Started with rapid spins in the position with a leg right up at the head. It was a big and busy beginning actually, and it worked well. Some of the twisting form has a bit of overlapping, crossing over at the ankles. Stability nicely managed in the low turns in the squat position. And then at the end, almost got through that double tuck. 12.166 the score for her teammate, Kristina Hrudecka. Lobok, like Hrudecka, scored 12.3 in qualification, but with higher difficulty, so she was below her on the execution tiebreak. It's been quite a slow day from a judging point of view. Lobok continues to wait. As do we all. Still the calculations continue. Very long wait for Diana Lobok to receive her score, and indeed for Mafalda Costa of Portugal, who's waiting to compete. And there is the score, 11.633. Representing Portugal, Mafalda Costa, second final of the day. That's a really good effort from Mafalda Costa of Portugal. Some impressive tumbling skills on show. The double layout at the start was powerful. Had a good tight tucked position right at the end too. A lot of really well performed gymnastics from the 20-year-old. One imagines her confidence must have been so heartened by making her World Championship debut in Jakarta. And there was a quiet sense of authority to this performance. There's the double layout, good positioning. Yes, she goes out of bounds, but it was well delivered. Nice secure twist position as well. And an earnest effort to commit to the choreography, to match the music. Portugal's Mafalda Costa. Second time we've seen her in a final today. That's a very successful day, whatever the outcome. The university undergraduate who scored 12.633 in qualification. If she gets close to that, she'll be leading. Well done to her. She's gone into the gold medal position. 12.2 for Mafalda Costa. 5 remain. Kate McDonald of Australia. Third best in the qualification process. Oh, that was some save at the end from Kate McDonald. How on earth did she stay upright? great performance. It really does have an energy choreographically. What she's doing from a movement point of view really relates to the music. But didn't she use all of her athleticism and experience to hold that final tumbling pass? Some great acrobatic work on display here from the experienced Australian. She's got her own routine, her own way of getting ready for the start of competition, gets in her own headspace, has music playing, and then she keeps that connection to music when she actually performs, because this really does relate rhythmically to the music. Great, powerful twisting. I mean, this surely has got to go quite comfortably into the lead. That's gone really comfortably into the lead. 13.066 for Kate McDonald. That's almost 9/10 of a mark ahead of anyone else. So we have 4 still to go. And this is the warm-up of the last of those gymnasts, Lafont. She scored 13.1 as the second best qualifier. We're going to go to the top qualifier now. Roshchina, top in qualification, 13.366. This is a routine notable for its tumbling complexity. There really is some tremendous tumbling in that display from Lyudmila Roshchina, the 18-year-old. It will have a high difficulty score. From an artistic point of view, does it have the sort of flow and fluidity and relationship to the music that McDonald's performance has? That's maybe more up for discussion. There are moments choreographically where some of the transition points from one element to the next seem quite easy to see, and ideally one wishes for floor choreography to blend together, linking all of those tumbling passes. But in terms of the actual tumbling itself, which is the lion's share of a floor exercise, it's very fine. and extremely athletic. Landings showed impressive control. It does lead 13.333 for Lyudmila Roshchina. She's ahead by about a quarter of a mark over Kate McDonald. Half a mark of difficulty. She didn't have the execution score compared to McDonald, but she certainly had the difficulty. This is the young Croatian gymnast, Teja Šikić-Kaučić, 6th best in qualification. Always enjoyable to watch on this piece. She's such an engaging gymnast to watch on floor. Teja Šikić-Kaučić of Croatia, champion at the World Challenge Cup in Tashkent last year. Somebody who's got a style that links all of the tumbling together. There is a sense of cohesion to her work. And we look back at this performance from the 17-year-old from Zagreb, the city that's going to be hosting the European Championships later in the year. And there's some good tumbling on show here as well. Controls the landing coming out of those piked rotations, straight into that expressive choreographic style that she has. You want gymnasts to be identifiable on floor, for it to be easy to know who's performing because of the style that they have that is unmistakably theirs. And she is unmistakably her on this piece. But the tumbling as well is really good and has developed a lot. She's still a very new senior. Still room in places for the execution to grow. But that's okay. Teja Šikić-Kaučić of Croatia. Very well done. 12.666. That is a jump of 0.3 from qualification. Leni Bohle of Austria. Now, she produced the best executed performance in the preliminary round. 4th best qualifier overall. It's a very different style of orchestration from what we've heard so far in this floor final. It stands out, the performance of Leni Bohle of Austria. The 18-year-old competed at her 2nd World Championships last year. Very much associated with her performances on floor. On 2 occasions she's taken a World Challenge Cup medal on this apparatus. A little delayed instability after the double pike. Went out of bounds. She didn't have any out of bounds penalties in the qualification process. So it's a 12.4 score for the Austrian Leni Bohle. She's down by 4/10 from qualifying, goes into 4th position, and we have 1 to go. To Lafont of Spain, 2nd best in qualification. It's got such a big and memorable finish, that, from Spain's Lafont. The gymnast who had a 5.4 difficulty score in qualification. She has that incredibly rapid series of pirouettes at the end. Currently, it's a 13.333 that leads the way, 13.066 second and 12.666 third. Look back at Spain's Lafont. Generates a lot of height to allow herself to open up out of that double tuck nicely. Little imprecision of form in the pike position. Well performed though. .666 plus required to get onto the podium. Ludmila Roshchina leading the way, Kate McDonald second, Antalya Šikić-Kaučić third. Where will she feature? She is close, but it's fourth place for Lafont, 12.466. And that means Ludmila Roshchina has won the gold, Kate McDonald has won the silver, and Antalya Šikić-Kaučić of Croatia has the bronze medal. Classified results in the women's floor exercise: bronze to Antalya Šikić-Kaučić of Croatia, silver to Australia's Kate McDonald, and the gold medal to Ludmila Roshchina. The bronze medal in the women's balance beam competition goes to Brianna Scott of Australia, and the silver medal to her teammate Kate McDonald. The gold medal won by Milana Kayumova, the 15-year-old. The medalists in the balance beam competition at the Antalya World Cup. The winner of the bronze medal in the women's floor competition, Antalya of Croatia. The silver medal won by Kate McDonald of Australia. And Roshchina, the winner of the gold medal. The medalists in the women's floor competition at the Antalya World Cup.